I'll start with Halo. Yes, this is going to be a video about Warhammer, but this is a Halo channel, so you should have known that it relates to that. Truth is, this could be said about a number of franchises. Diablo, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Fallout, even something as old as Mega Man. You see, the thing is, I absolutely adore Halo. Either the Bungie originals or the 343 lackluster games. They're my favourite games ever made. So much that over the years I've been sucked into the outstanding, vast universe. Outside of the games, outside of all the gaming, there's a universe out there that's filled with amazing, diverse and in-depth lore. This is the kind of lore that can rival a lot of science fiction franchises out there on any side of media. I love the relationships within it, I love the military focus, I love all the different races, the guns, the history, the tech, politics. I love everything about it. And yet, when it comes to having any other video game experiences that aren't just the major releases, there have only ever been a few options and nothing in recent times. We've had 2 Halo RTS games, ODST of course, but that was just an FPS spin-off, 2 remake anniversary titles, 2 top-down arcade shooters, and 1 huge arcade gun game. The most recent of all of those came out in 2018. At the time of this video, that's 6 years ago, and that was an arcade game that not many people even know about. You'd have to go back to the year before that, 2017, to find the last home release console game, which was Halo Wars 2. What's sadder than all of that is that we've only had 3 mainline games since 343 took over the series and released Halo 4 in 2011. Now I know 343's dead and Halo Studios is the new heir to the throne, however this still is relevant. While the Halo community and even older Halo players that no longer play the game are somewhat excited to see what this new Halo Studios can do in Unreal 5, there's still so much skepticism around the mainline games that in order to really bolster Halo's name in the world of gaming, it would make a lot of sense to take snippets of all this lore outside of those mainline games and spin them off into side games. They kind of did it a little bit with ODST, but that was like 2 decades ago. These games should be just smaller, easy to develop. Every year or 2, 6 months even, we should be getting a new smaller game. And where has that been done before, and even currently? Well, Warhammer. Just looking through Steam, you can see pages and pages of games and DLCs. It's just such a missed opportunity for a franchise like Halo. In fact, now that I'm in my mid-30s, I don't have loads of time to play a 20-hour FPS game with loads of side quests and hidden things. I long and dream of shorter games just to fill that gap when I know I've got a few nights off free to my own activities or a day on the weekend or something. And there's so much lore there that could be driven through this. I want a nice tidy short game telling the story of Sergeant Johnson and Operation Harvest, where we first encountered the elites. Or we could go way back in time and play something from the era of the Forerunners, where humanity wasn't even a thing, let alone the other alien races. There's a trilogy of books just about that period already. We didn't even get an ODST 2. I don't know how that makes sense when we get 2 books and a bunch of side stories about them. Or the most obvious thing in the world that everyone asks for, a Flood-inspired horror game. Or if they wanted to stick to Master Chief, which they glaringly obviously do, then where is the origin story? There's so much lore and discussion about his journey into becoming a Spartan outside of the games. Halo fans absolutely love this part of the lore, and it's crazy we've not seen that in a game form at all. And I haven't even really mentioned the types of games that these could become, because it doesn't really matter. Halo could cover it all, from the traditional FPS, to the real-time strategy, RPG, turn-based strategy. Hell, you could even do a flight sim or arcade shooter with all the lore on the spaceships being so detailed. There's already a board game on this. When I look at a franchise like Warhammer, I actually get a bit sad. Warhammer keeps pumping out these new games with a variety that's just unmatched. We very recently got a third-person shooter that's also a hack and slash game that's actually a co-op extravaganza with a PvP mode on the side. We've had a collectible card game, an FPS shooter that's inspired by retro graphics and boomer shooters. We've got this huge role-playing game, multiple turn-based tactic games, side-scrolling hilarious run-and-gun game. We've got an extraction / Left 4 Dead style FPS, phone-based MMO, traditional FPS, and all of that is within the context of 2020 to now. It's insane. And I'm just talking about Warhammer 40k. Let's not mention the fantasy side or Warhammer Age of Sigmar. It's absolutely insane how many games they pump out. And look, I know Warhammer isn't perfect. I've played quite a few of these games. The hired gun game, for example, it looks great on paper but doesn't really live up to your expectations. It's not that it's a bad game, but it's just lacking in that quality. And maybe Halo fans wouldn't stand for this. Let's not mention Halo 5, I guess. Even the older Warhammer games like Fire Warrior are rather tedious to try and play these days. But for every one or two, there's a Vermintide or a Dawn of War or a Space Marines 1 and Space Marines 2 that are just chef's kiss. So Warhammer games may be hit and miss, and the fans definitely feel the frustration of inconsistent quality. But at least Warhammer fans still have a steady stream of content to dive into. Despite its flaws, the franchise continues to thrive, offering hours of engaging experiences with the ongoing promise of more to come. You can easily argue that with Space Marines 2 just having come out a couple of months ago, the franchise as a whole has never been bigger. In the space of a couple of years, having 2 lackluster but reasonable games and 1 mega hit is the thing that franchises should dream of, and the fans do dream of. Meanwhile, Microsoft 343 or Halo Studios now keeps putting all their eggs in one basket. And when it fails, they just fire everyone, shelve the IP, get in some contractors, just dribble along whatever multiplayer's left out there, and then make us wait even longer for the next actual game to come out. In the end, I understand that Warhammer fans get frustrated with games that don't live up to their expectations. But as a die-hard Halo fan, that is much better to have new, fresh, unique Warhammer experiences with hours of content than an underwhelming FPS campaign and a half-baked free-to-play multiplayer and nothing else for at least 4 years. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you share my sentiment here, but I just wanted to put something out because I've been playing Space Marines 2 so much and it's just so fun, and I just don't understand why we don't have experiences like this in Halo universe. So hit subscribe if you've enjoyed this, and I will catch you in the next video.